On that note, let's welcome back our panel. On the right, Javier Manjarres, managing editor of the Shark Tank political blog, who joins us from our Newsmax newsroom in South Florida, and Skyping in from Washington, D.C. on the left, Ari Rabin-Havt, the host of The Agenda on Sirius XM Radio and a former aide to Senator Harry Reid. So, Ari, the whole notion of that CIA report being released, it's created a great deal of consternation in the Senate and elsewhere. Your take on the reasons for the release and the arguments for making the release of that CIA report?
I think in general, look, my take has been the same as it was before the release, that transparency is good, that the only way you at all have any accountability to the secret elements of the state are for moments of accountability like this, and that is necessary to protect our constitutional liberties and rights, are moments where secret behavior is called to account. I think, of course, there's consternation on the part of Michael Hayden. I mean, the report, Appendix 3 of the report, was literally just calling Michael Hayden a liar. That was the entirety of Appendix 3 of the report. So, of course, he's got consternation about a report that basically said you lied in your testimony to Congress.
Javier, is this a situation where we're getting revisionist history and a political stunt under the guise of an official report from the U.S. Senate?
Yeah, official that it's Democrat-laden. The Democrats were the ones that pushed this report. Look, I'm one of those that don't believe that there should be transparency when it comes to intelligence and the sovereignty of the United States of America. I'm one of those that supports these black sites. I don't even believe that Guantanamo should have ever existed. These people should have been afforded the opportunity, these terrorists, the opportunity to meet their maker, to see those 72 virgins that they praise. Or be locked away at some black site. But look, this is, we've talked about this before, this is all political. Democrats try to use this to, again, pull out that whole blame Bush doctrine and hurt Republicans on the heels of their magnificent loss in November of this year.
Go ahead,
I actually
Ari.
thought fairly kind to Bush, to be honest, was in my eyes way too kind and way too willing to kind of brush aside his culpability. So, if anything, the report was extremely kind to George Bush.
Ari, whether or not it was, quote, kind to George W. Bush, we've got about a minute and a half remaining, and mindful of time, that's what I want to talk about. The timing. Wasn't it curious that the day you have the Obamacare architect called to the House side, that's when Dianne Feinstein comes to the floor, that's when the report is released? Now look, we've been around politics a long time. You have to admit there was something inherently political in the timing of the release of the report.
Except for the fact that Dianne Feinstein had been trying to release the report for more than a year before that. So look, there was pretty much a week left to release that report, or it would never get released. Dianne Feinstein clearly wanted to release the report, and there was a secondary element where there was the Mark Udall doing what was done with the Pentagon Papers and reading a classified document into the record of Congress under the speech and debate clause of the Constitution was the other side of the coin. So there was a reason to do it that week. You could say, well, they could have done it Wednesday instead of Tuesday, but it was coming that week. And frankly, I watched all of John Gruber's testimony before the committee, and there was nothing interesting in there.
Well, not for you, I'm sure. Javi, last word to you, 30 seconds.
I was there, and I kind of like the fact that Chairman Issa called him stupid. But look, Ari's right. Feinstein tried to release this about a year ago, just in time for the midterm elections, so go figure.
All right, gentlemen, we will have to leave it there. As always, we appreciate your input on these matters, political and policy-wise. Ari Rabin-Havt on the left, Skyping in from Washington, Javier Manjarres on the right from our South Florida Newsmax newsroom. Speaking of foreign policy, I've got some thoughts on that when we come back.